Now, welcome back to another episode. Well, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic/Non-Class, episode 38. Please excuse me, this is my second time trying to get this to work because apparently my Wi-Fi is going to quick at me. So, take two of this. X-Men, Curse of the Mutants, Mutants versus Vampires. I am not going to repeat the writers again because it's so freaking stupid. I am going to repeat the stories in here. X-Men Curse of Mutants, starring Gantman, number 1. X-Men versus... No, I'm just going to say Curse of Mutants, starring Gantman, number 1. Blade, number 1. Smoke and Blood, number 1. And X-Men versus Vampires, 1 and 2. And the classic story from McKinney, X-Men, number 159. Now, pretty much what to say about this. This is a companion book to the main Curse of Mutants book. That's all this serves as. Now... Of all the stories in here, the most worst story of this entire book is the Smoke and Blood story. The writing is the only thing I give credit for. But the story itself is completely stupid. It's basically the X Club chasing a gremlin around their lab and asking Emma Frost to help. Okay, I don't like this story. It's completely stupid. The first story is really good. I do like this story. But the best one-shot has to go to Blade. He has the best one-shot. He has good writing, good story, and good artwork. The artwork for the first story is okay, but I'm getting used to it because how many times I read stories with Chris Pacheco's artwork in it. Chris Pacheco's artwork. But the story, I do like the story for one particular reason. It's because it's Return of Janus. Dracula's oldest son, one of his two sons, his older son. His younger son is the one that basically is behind the whole Cursed Mutants fiasco. Yeah. So, pretty much, and the miniseries, the first issue, the best story has to go to Magneto's story. It's a really, really good story. It takes place during one of the issues. I'm not sure which one it takes place during. But Magneto meets up with a vampire who has known him as far back as the concentration camps. And Magneto he went to Auschwitz. Yeah. And yeah, at the time this is when Magneto was still wearing his original costume. Of course now he's not. He's wearing this gray and black costume. Yeah. Yeah, the artist who's drawing Carnage X-Men just has to have him draw him in that particular costume. It's an okay costume, but Cyclops' costume is worse. The classic story introduces Dracula to the X-Men for the very first time. This is one of 2 times prior to this that the X-Men have actually fought Dracula. The only other time they've actually fought Dracula was in X-Men Annual number 6. That was the only other time they actually fought him. That was also during a time when Storm is turned to vampire. And basically, Storm is basically somewhat of a damsel in distress most of the time. I mean, she's been turned into a goddess by Loki. She's been turned into a vampire by Dracula. Heck, Archon, who debuted as Avengers villain, he even tried making her his consort. Of course, now his consort is now Thundera. And she was married for 6 years to the Black Panther. Now her marriage is over, and she's now back in her 80s look, which is basically the Mohawk. I don't mind the Mohawk look, but it's okay. I mean, she's basically distraught because her marriage ended the Black Panther. It was a really good marriage. I don't really know what was the whole point of you built this relationship up for about 2 or 3 years, and then you had to get married, stay married for 6 years. They got married in an regular issue of Black Panther. And then you have a divorce. Well, Black Panther no longer marriage. Now, there are some good marriages in Marvel Comics that have lasted for a good period of time because they do it the right way. You see, my opinion of marriages in comics has to be done either in a special, an annual, or particularly very big issue. Like, what's a good one? Oh, yes. The marriage of Reed Richards and Susan Storm. They got married in Fantastic Four and number 5 after being engaged for about a few years. That's when they got married. When they had Luke Cage and Jessica Jones get married. They got married in the first stand-up for New Avengers. But other marriages basically don't tend to last too long because they get married in regular issues. Like, for example, the marriage of Black Panther and Storm, or the marriage of Hank Pym and Johnny Van Dyne, aka the Wasp and Yellow Jacket, or whatever identity probably putting Hank Pym is in. But this, of course, is the costume she was wearing at the time. I love this costume. It's a really good looking costume. Though there was one minor error. I think it was in Consequences, where they had it look like she's wearing like boots all the way up to her costume. I don't know why they drew it that way. Most of the time, she's drawn basically her boots just go up to like just past her knee, and shows like her thighs. I don't mind that look. Matter of fact, her original costume's kind of that look too. As for this thing she has in her hair, that's actually from her original costume. That's the only thing she's actually kept. Now, most actors change their costumes. Gambit, of course, hardly ever changes his costume. But overall, I give this a 4 out of 5. Half a star for the Smoke and Blood suit, because that was terrible. And the other half simply because of Young X-Men's bad art story. Otherwise, though, that's it. Oh yes, Dracula. Dracula has died 4 times in the history of Marvel Comics. First, in the final issue of Doom of Dracula, issue 70. Number 2, he got killed off in a storyline in Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. Some kind of spell wiped out all vampires, killed him too. Third time he died was when he got killed off in the final issue of Captain Britain by 13. And the fourth and last known time he's died was actually in a one-shot known as The Death of Dracula #1. Quite obvious, which was also the debut of his second son, Xavier, I think his name is. But, oh no, you gotta get credit for Chris Claremont for introducing Dracula to the X-Men. Dracula Marvel Comics version was not created by Chris Claremont. Another writer did that. As a matter of fact, the 2 different versions of Dracula. The one we know today, and the one made a debut back in Suspense, which was also the same series that also introduced the first Marvel Comics version of the Frankenstein monster. What I recommend is, oh yes, if you're a vampire fan, if you're an X-Men fan, completionist, or simply you just like the story, you want to get more stories out of it, or you can skip it altogether. It's somewhat not necessary, but it does expand some stuff, basically. But I would get it simply for the Blade story, yeah. Of 3 one-shots. Blade's the best. Storm Gambit's second best. The worst is Smoke and Blood. X vs. Vampires. The first issue, the best story is the Magneto issue. Second issue is the Archangel story. Oh, before I go. What does Dracula currently look like in the Marvel Universe? Even though they don't show his head, they do show him. And this is his oldest son. Right there, Jonas. Let's see, where is he? Yeah, it's Chris Michelle's artwork. Let's see, where is he? Here it is. That's what Dracula currently looks like now in the Marvel Universe. Okay? So, that's that for episode 38. Stay tuned for next episode, which they'll record right after this. Okay? Bye.